waiting that they even the teachers not be waiting.
Okay, so let's understand this. Because the challenge we have is that we don't realize that change is the only constant in life. What is true today may be a lie tomorrow. But it doesn't mean it was not true yesterday.
What is true today may be a lie tomorrow.
But it doesn't mean it was not true yesterday. It's because life is lived forward but understood backward. And as we evolve, we learn. Everybody here, there's one statement you have made in your life. If I knew what I know now. Everybody on earth, if you have never made that statement, you are a madman. That means you are not growing. That is a sign of growth. If you say, I will not have done that, I will not have done that, that means you are growing. So when you have a single lady as a daughter, what will you tell the girl? Don't sleep with any man. Don't let a man touch you. It's true. You are not lying to her because at that season of her life, that was what she needed to hear. But when she gets married, don't deprive your husband of sex. So make sure mommy, are you not the one that told me? No. Now I'm telling you something else. So what I told you before was true. But if I tell you not to allow your husband to touch you now, it's a lie. I'm ruining your life. I'm ruining your marriage. That's the way life is. So when they were telling us, don't forget, you see, people need to just get the School of Money book, get all this book. You see, I explain all these things. The civilization we call civilization today started with what we call the hunter-gatherer stage, the caveman era. At that point in time, no school, no nothing. The only thing that people had was energy and skill. They were hunting, running after squirrel, running after antelope, running after all these things. That's all they had, and that's all they needed. If you gave that person $1 billion at that point, they would use and do toilet roll. Because it was useless to them. There was no shopping mall, no shoe, nothing. They didn't even know that anything was wrong. But when they evolved to the realm of agrarian age, when they evolved to the agrarian age, that was when land became important. People now started claiming land. Real estate is royal estate. This is the land you need to come to certificate of occupancy, right of occupancy. That it was at that point that we started trade by barter. It was at that point that they started multiple wives, multiple children. It was at that time that slave trade came. All these were all economic theory to survive that season. Then they evolved from that point to industrial revolution. It was during the industrial age that education came. So during the industrial age, education was set up to take people from the farming slave to factory slave. So they now say, okay, all the intelligent ones that are here now, let's gather them, because this guy be like, say, get some brain. If you tell them something, if they know how to plant, if they answer, put them together and create a curriculum and teach them so that they will know how to handle the factory. Because from orange, we need to produce orange juice. And we need to cancel. They now created courses. Okay, this is accounting, this is chemistry. Question, the first person that became an accountant, who certified him? So somebody sat down and said, come, let's create it. I do curriculum now, so I know what I'm talking about. I've created curriculum that does not exist before, that I created. And it's now existing because I created it. So somebody said, okay, let's do one, we call it accounting. But that person that was creating the curriculum, he himself is not certified. Because nobody certified. He's now the pioneer and the progenitor of a new. That's how all these courses were created. And it was not, schools were not created to make you rich. They were created to discipline and train you to function the way those that need you want you to function. So if you meet with elderly people in their 70s or in their 80s, and they are to ask you, they won't ask you what course do you study. They will say, what is your discipline? That's what they do. They won't say, what course do you study? So they say, what is your discipline? That means, what have you been disciplined to become? That's why all your life, you have an identity. You go to school, when you come out, they say, what's this? I say, I'm doctor, I'm engineer. You forget your name. You now start introducing yourself with the title they give you. Because you went to school to be trained to become what they want you to become. So there was nothing wrong in education in the days of our parents. But what they did not realize was that the colonial masters were using this for a purpose. That is why we still have the problem today. So when you go to school, they teach you to become this, and then you become it. But the world has evolved. We have moved from industrial age now. We are now in the age of technology. We are in what we call the fourth industrial revolution. The fifth one is emerging now. So all those things now, don't forget that when we were growing up, if you say you want to be an actor, you say, hear me. You want to be a footballer, hey, village people. Today now everybody wants to be a footballer. But all those things have now expired. Now everybody wants to move to the next level, IT, tech, and all the tech. So that's so now, when you go to school, you learn, you come to use. But in order for them to keep you for 5 years or 4 years, they have to teach you what you need and what you don't need. And most of the textbooks were given by the Westerners to deceive you. That's why they will say Mongopa came to discover you. Are you all right? Mongopa, so you exist, then somebody can't discover you. If you didn't exist, will you be discovered? They say you are discovered. It's because of all these problems. So now, over 80% of what you learn in school today is useless when you graduate.
Over 80%.
Over 80%.
Yes.
Over
It's
it,
useless.
too.
When
The
you're there,
YDX.
over 80% is useless. Now, number 2, the word that existed when you do, is it the matric they will do first, convocation?
Matric first,
Matriculation.
convocation last.
The word that existed when you did matric, by the time you are doing convocation with the next gown, that word is no more in existence. Because every 5 years, there's a new word. 2019 and now are 2 different words. Pre-COVID, post-COVID. Before, in 2019, nobody will ask you, is it virtual? It was not in our vocabulary. That's a new word. Before 2019, nobody will say, I want to work remotely. So if you are still now oppressing, no, you cannot do this. It's because you are still an analog mind in a digital age. You don't realize that things have changed. So companies are now rewriting policies, rewriting HR policy. Why? Because it's a new world. So people that are now telling you go to school, go and study this, go and study that, they are not bad people, but they are expired people. They are sincere, but they are sincerely wrong. They are telling you to go and do something that is useless. They are telling you to go and prepare to solve problem of yesterday instead of preparing you to solve tomorrow's problem. So today, if like 15 years ago, if you say you are a drone pilot, it doesn't exist.
Yes.
I'm into animation. I'm into gaming. It doesn't exist. So if you now go to your mother now, your father, mother, maybe like chief, we dress like you say, daddy, and study animation. So what? Are you
an animal? Are you an animal?
That's the way it is.
True.
Many of the comedians, footballers, actors, and actresses today, their parents disowned them when they went to Nollywood. Disowned them when they went to music. Today, everybody wants their children. So that's the same way parents are disowning their children now. For saying, you are just jobless, you don't want to go to school. What is animation? What is this? Because they don't realize. So in our own days, people were sent to school to go and study a course that will put a prefix before their name.
Yes.
Engineer, doctor,
Barrister.
Architect, barrister.
Lawyer.
Because most of the parents wanted to live through the
Barrister.
life of their children.
Yeah.
So what they could not achieve, they want to achieve
Mama
through the life of
lawyer,
their children.
Mama doctor,
But
Mama
now
priest.
those things they are useless now.
Father.
So am I saying don't go to school? No, we need to redefine education. As a matter of fact, you can go to my YouTube channel at Dr. Olumide Emmanuel on YouTube. I just did a series this last October. So most of those series you people see is October I do, because the whole of October in our church I focus on finance. So it was October 2022 that I did before you joined the Jackpot bandwagon. I did a whole series on that just to help, because nobody said don't jackpot, but face reality.